Well, this is a little bit of a surprise, so I thought I'd get through 2 days of conference and not have to get up here and speak, but here we are. And it is a privilege, actually, to be introducing our speakers that are going to be wrapping up some of their valued aspects of Ngā Wāhi Auaha Creative Spaces Conference 2024. They're going to be introducing themselves and speaking about their key takeaways and what they're going to be taking back to their spaces to inspire them further into our future journeys. So first of all, I'd like to bring Kat from Crescendo in Tamaki Makaurau.
Kia ora, thanks Fiona. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko o kaiwhakahaere matua ki Crescendo, ko Percy toko ingoa. So I have the pleasure and burden as well to be the CEO at Crescendo, but the pleasure is in representing a group of artists in Tāmaki that we use music to engage Rangatahi. And I was thinking about, what's the lovely woman from Exalt, said, talk about our why more. And so rather than what we do, what Crescendo is all about is empowered rangatahi who have meaningful futures. And so that's what, I'd love to be honored to be the advocate for. I just want to say a big thanks to Fiona and Connor, who we've been working with for many months now, being part of an advocacy group with Arts Access Aotearoa. We've been working really hard behind the scenes, a group of us, to try to find ways to talk to ministers that don't necessarily want to hear what we have to say about shifting from one ministry to another. It's been really great having you guys' support and walking along beside us. Thank you. I guess just reflections on this conference. It's my first time coming to this conference, and I came in, like probably many of you, quite full and kind of thinking, oh God, how am I going to make space for this in my working life? And by the first opening speech and the, in the mihi, I was kind of grounding myself in the space, and I feel coming away connected. I've had so many great connections with so many of you I've met before, or new people who've just been so lovely and warm. And I just hope is my biggest takeaway. I don't know how about a lot of you guys are feeling, but empowered. I feel, less alone, and I feel really engaged and more knowledgeable, really, with all these range of topics. So really grateful for Arts Access for putting on such a great agenda. We were asked to do a few ideas of hope for how we see the future. And so this is just talking from my personal point of view and from my Crescendo hat. And my 4 key hopes for the future in the creative sector. I guess just a future where differences are celebrated. So me in the rainbow sector, rainbow identifying, just seeing that, you guys have probably all seen the, growth of non-binary, and for me as a strong and empowered wahine, seeing, I think, a lot of shift, and so we're shifting away from binaries, away from, patriarchal, away from traditional domination of, peoples, and seeing shift of differences. And so my hope is that we continue to see that in the future, and creatives will really be thriving in that space where differences are more celebrated. I see a place where creative thinking is used to solve these big problems, climate change, mental health, anxiety, a place where creative thinking grounds us in our age of digital and technology. And so we can start using space to a lot differently than we used to get us out of our digital comfort zones. The third one is future in the gig economy. So I do a lot of research on how we'll all be working, and to prepare our rangatahi for the future. The future of work is going to be different, and so we do a lot at Crescendo to prepare our young people. The beauty of it is that creatives have been working in a gig style. We all have how many gigs are we all doing on the side? We're all doing 5 jobs at once, and that's what the future is going to be like. And I think we should start really celebrating and advocating that we are leaders in that space. We're already doing it, and we can show the corporates and everyone else how to handle that and manage it. And finally, the hope for the idea for the future is touch more back into indigeneity. So I'm a big proponent of social enterprise. This is not something new. This is a model that we have taken from our indigenous whānau, and we're just bringing it back, highlighting it, bringing it back to the consciousness. So that idea of holistic and creative spaces are, again, leading that forefront in terms of a holistic approach to our whānau and the people we serve. So yeah, I think we're going to be leaders of the future sector. We just need a bit more time. All right, that's me. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Kat. Thanks very much for that. And we also have Maria Anderson from Magenta in Nelson sharing her thoughts on her highlights and what she's taking back to her creative space.
Kia ora, my name's Maria Anderson from Magenta Creative Space in Whakatū Nelson. I just want to have a shout out to Anika Stevens and Maya Heglin from Whakatū as well, both from Magenta, and Tanya Knock from Cultural Conversations, also in Whakatū. So by way of reflection and wrapping up, I'd like to read out a few quotes from our presenters. Easy approach, but there were some powerful things, and I want us to be reminded of what we've heard so far. And our quotes sort of really resonated with me throughout the duration of our concert. So our conference. So the last thing at night you should see, and the first thing in the morning should be smiling faces. So partaking in activation through love. The path of recovery is with a cloak of support. What's the job of an apple grower? This was in one of the workshops. What's the job of an apple grower? It's to provide the best possible environment for the seed to grow, the best possible version of themselves. So another little gem was creative spaces, creating spaces for voices, providing hope and a valued-based approach. So know your why and your purpose. Engagement is the property of the powerful. Disrupt social norms, break down the ableist system. Bureaucrats have lack of imagination. Make great art, make art well as best as you can. Remember, when you are invited in, you are not a visitor, you are a witness. Reaching out across the divide, walk with me, hear me, understand me. Add another spoke to the wheel. To get big, sustained change, we need to move the rock, build public understanding of support. Everyone has a story. In the whakapapa of that story, acknowledge the people before you and where the story has come from. Step into the possibility of the world you want to live in. The most important stories are the stories that we tell ourselves. So wow, what an inspirational conference, right? Everyone that is here today serving our communities, all of us impacting our communities that exemplify the way that we want to be the best, exemplify the very best of our human condition, celebrating our ability to be empathetic, celebrating our yearning for connection, celebrating our collective voice. These are the strengths of our sector. These are the superpowers of creative spaces. Sitting somewhere in between health and arts, we live and work in a way that exemplifies the best qualities of being human. Our social impacts ripple through our communities in ways that are different from art galleries, museums and libraries, mainly because we are shoulder to shoulder with our communities and we are making a difference. So please stay connected to each other. We are stronger as a collective voice. Continue to work in the world and create a world you want to walk in. And most importantly, let's read, write and repeat self-affirming stories of our human impact and let everyone know about the great work we do. Thank you.
Yeah, wow, that was amazing. I couldn't have said it better. That was really inspirational, and what a marvellous strategy to have when it comes to key takeaways, reminding us of some of those wonderful, empowering moments that we've had in each of our sessions. So thanks, Maria. Can I bring Kate Buckley from Art for Me on the West Coast up to share her thoughts? Thank you.
I do this. Just move this down to a slightly lower level. Kia ora koutou te whānau. I'm Kate Buckley from Art for Me in Hokitika. Our creative space called Art for Me works under the umbrella of the local REAP, which is WestREAP. And at WestREAP we talk a lot about meeting community need. So the programme is one that has grown from something small to something much more significant. We work with 100 odd people a week over 7 sessions with 11 tutors on our 600-kilometre stretch of coastline with our 30,000 people. So the one thing our creative space has to be is open to everybody. It's been an amazing opportunity to be here, and I really want to genuinely thank all of those who have worked so hard to make it happen. My cup is full of ideas and possibilities and things that will come. In terms of reflections and inspirations, Libby's opening korero just did exactly what an opening speech should do. She laid out her story, and it just gave space for all of the tools and the stories and the opportunities and possibilities that are, some of which we're doing, some of which we're learning, some of which we have done, laying that out so that over the 2 days there's been tool after tool, opportunity after opportunity that I know I'm bringing back to my work. I took 2 quotes from her opening speech. One was the value of having everybody in the room. I think that's very much key to our work. And the value of having everybody in the space is the ripple effect from that across and out into our communities, through our families and our participants. And I often do this when I come to a conference. It's like, why am I here? What's driving me to come all the way up to this? And I'm going, well, for me, the core of it is always the creativity. And in this case, the core of all of our work is the creativity. That's the fire. And we're tending the fire. Some of us are cutting firewood and making it happen. But what we're also doing is heating the house. And as long as we continue to do the work we're doing, there will continue to be a warm whare, a warm house for this to continue, for this to affect everybody, not just those of us at the coalface. And I just think that's why are we here? Why do we put this effort into it? We need to keep the fire burning. This is the hearth. The other thing that Libby talked about, and I just loved this one, she said, you need to have the ability to listen to the people in front of you and then to get out of their way. I thought, yep. The other thing I'll really take away from this was Hone's korero this morning about systemic racism and the permission that came with his talk to lean in, to challenge and to take responsibility. I will take that back with me and I will keep that forever, I hope. I end the conference very hopeful and thankful. Tēnā koutou katoa.
Kia ora. Thank you so much, Kate. And yes, storytelling is at the heart of advocacy, isn't it? And that is why it is the theme at this concurrent and runs through our conference. No one can deny us of our stories. They're our tools to show our voices to the rest of the world. So thanks for that, Kate. Can I please invite Suzanne up from Toi Ora in Tamaki Makaurau?
I'll lift this back up. Kia ora. Ko tiamana te whakapaparanga mai, no ruagabid o kutiptuna, kei Tamaki Makaurau e noho ana, he kai whakahaere I ahau I Toi Ora, ko Suzanne Ritzenhoff tōku ingoa. Kia ora, tēnā koutou katoa. For me, the key takeaway, I'd say, is connection, and staying curious with our connection. And I'd like to see that from a point of Toi Ora. Toi Ora, we are a creative space that supports people with mental health challenges. And I think the word being real came up a couple of times throughout this conference as well. And for me, this is a trickle-down effect that we're actually seeing in our organisation. And that is by having a wonderful board that goes into a board meeting and everyone comes with their 8, 9 ideas of what is going to happen. And we've had it so many times that my 2 co-chairs and I have thought, yep, we've got that sussed, we know what we're going to do, this is probably going to be the outcome. And we walk away from the board meeting having had a real open kōrero that actually came up with a new and better idea that we then followed through. Now, what I want to say is what it means actually for that to happen is a constant openness. It's a staying curious. It's staying connected with each other, knowing what we are, or being able to say what we want to say in the moment and being present. And that is, I think, something that if we carry that through as leaders of the organisations that we're leading all, the staff that we're then supporting through that kōrero that comes through from the board is phenomenal, because as leaders of organisations, we first and foremost actually have to look after our staff, after the well-being of our staff. And when actually times get tough, we need to pull that in back together and help us doing that. And as such, what I'm thinking as well, and the talk this morning with Heni really resonated with me as well. And my background is being as German, so I'm carrying a lot of that history with me when I'm standing here and when I'm talking about it. And being conscious that we are actually in the system. So it's not somewhere else out there that people are doing things to us. We are the system. The way we act on a daily basis, the way we are with each other in those connections is how we're going to make that change. And being creative for me is a human aspect that we're actually bringing, and that's our chance to make that change. So that wasn't probably more reflection on my own standing where I'm here now, but I'm hoping it connects to some of the things that have been said through this conference. I had some amazing experiences when, we arrived at the airport, we sat in the shuttle bus and two ladies walked in and we ended up actually here in the creative conference, and then shortly thereafter we made a very quick connection that we actually knew some people together, and so a conversation started and now new ideas are coming out. So I'm taking that with me. I'm keeping the connection or wanting to keep the connections up with everyone, and fantastic. Thank you very much, Richard, and the team from Arts Access Aotearoa for a fantastic conference. Very inspirational, and it's really, really good to connect. Kia ora.
Kia ora, and thank you, Susanna. That was fantastic. It's connecting with one another that is the power we have as human beings. And I really, really challenge you all to continue to connect with the other creative spaces in your region. We'll certainly be helping you do that. Can I please invite Heni from Otautahi, Christchurch Creative Space?
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Heni tōku ingoa. Hi, I'm Heni, and I'm part of the wonderful creative community at Auckland Creative Spaces. What an energising 2 days it's been, and to be here all together. What's really standing out for me, and I know from conversations that I've had with others, is the importance of banding together. Be it for advocacy, funding, research. We are all small organisations trying to do big things. As a group, we have a collective power. And if we really want to make some noise, for our sector to be taken seriously, uplift the community art practice, and change attitudes long term, then we're in it together and we're playing a long game. As Marilyn and Marty would say, who I know many of you would have had the opportunity to meet earlier in the year through the cultural competence training, feed the wānanga and it will feed you. I think something similar applies here. We all have something to contribute to creating a vibrant and strong sector long term, because it will in turn nourish us. I suggest teaming up with spaces that share commonalities. Maybe your community has similarities, a shared vision, or regionally you're close together. Write a letter to your local MP or head to the council together. And we've got to play smart. Ask for the same thing, use the same language. Perhaps also team up with other spaces on a funding application. When we think playing the long game, what would make a huge difference to our sector and open doors is national research. National research to show the difference we make. We have such beautiful stories out there, but we need to build on this too. We need evidence-based, quantifiable data. Specifically, the social return on investment. You all heard the Minister yesterday, economy, economy, economy. Our friends at Ehi Research have put out a report to show the social return on investments nationally in sports. For every dollar spent, $2.12 is saved. So this kind of research is being done. So my call to action is, as a sector, let's get behind this and support our own national research. I would love to end on one last thing. Let's be bold. There's no time to waste. Stand loud and proud for our artists and for our communities. So this sign here, which I know in Kim's presentation you would have seen a picture of us heading along to the council, has come along with us, along with a fleet of others, to many different things. Boosted campaigns, council deputations, MP talks, and it stormed galleries. And now I think that it's been gilded and bejeweled by Ron Takawa himself. It's got a new lease on life. So on that note, folks, let's make some noise.
Kia ora, Heni. That was just the sort of energy that we want to end this conference on, so thank you so much. This is exactly what we're talking about. Hapaitia in our wahi toi. Amplify and advocate. Your voices combined can be loud, and they should be proud. Can I please invite Adam Hayward from Arts Integrated, Otautahi, Christchurch.
If I stand behind a lectern, there's a barrier between me and you, and I feel that that's kind of mildly not nice. Hi, I'm Adam. I'm from Christchurch, from Manchester. Please don't hold that against me. I started yesterday exceptionally angry, and I kind of wanted to say to the minister, there'll be no one to write the books that you want to read in the future if you don't fund the arts in schools, or the arts in general. But I think I'm over it. Well, I'm not over it, but I think I'm over it for these 5 minutes. So, it now says 2 minutes 30. That 2 minutes 30 went quick. I am just going to have one gripe, though. I want to say a huge thank you to the speakers at the conference who are in this room and have been in the room for the last 2 days. To those speakers who, for various reasons, came in, spoke, and left. Personally, I find that exceptionally disrespectful when we are in a platform where a huge amount of us have given up our time to talk at this conference. You've been invited to share information with us, but not to listen to other voices in the room. Not sure why you got me to go last. However, then there was a whole bunch of other things about the fact that there's more than one rock. Lorman said we could just want to cut the string to the rock. I think for me, one of the big takeaways in how I operate, Arts Integrated provide kind of training and creative skill development for young disabled people who don't necessarily want to perform on stage. They don't necessarily want to present their art. They don't necessarily want to be a musician, but they want to be creative. And what we do is we work at that rock face, and we work in that space where we create pathways for young people to be creative or to discover what their creativity might be. So they might choose to go on to be dancers or choose to go on to that. And one thing we've just done, which is part of a pathway, and I'm intrigued by pathways, but I'm also intrigued by getting out of this obsession with the arts not having any money, because there's money elsewhere. There's more than one rock. We're in a creative waka, but that waka is one of many. So we've been working for the last 2.5 years, and today we had a group of students who just embarked on a Level 2 certificate in digital design in partnership with ARA, which has no prerequisite around numeracy and literacy, and it's designed purely as a standalone for the disability sector, which is going to create a pathway for design your own qual micro-credentials for the disabled community to gain access to tertiary education. But that's because that's what they told us they wanted, that they weren't slotting into mainstream education. It wasn't suitable for them. And I just want to end, and it's slightly different because it's a different project that I'm kind of involved with, but the notion of cross-sector partnership, and I think one thing there's a huge amount of people I've met over the last 2 days who've inspired me, everyone I've listened to, everyone I've met, everyone I've sat and ranted with, shared conversation has been hugely inspiring, and there's a lot for me to take away and process. But one of the hopes and one of the things that I would like to say from my perspective, if anybody is interested, I'm more than happy to talk about it, is the notion of cross-sector partnership. And from one example is Christchurch at the moment is still rebuilding, and there's a huge facility called the Metropolitan Sports Facility. What? Why? Yeah. Well, within that, there is 750 square meters of bespoke dance and circus studio space, co-located as a standalone arts facility within a sport and leisure facility paid for by the sport and rec sector for 2 reasons. One, if I'd have asked the arts sector for it, they'd have told me to get stuffed. No chance, go to the back of the queue. 2, Sport New Zealand's latest active recreation report lists 4 key priorities for the next 3 years. One of those, in black and white, in the top right corner of the page, is artistic movement. Sport New Zealand get it. We've been trying desperately to get Sport New Zealand and Creative New Zealand to look at working together in cross-sector partnership, but they weren't. So delighted that Kim talked about cracks. I love falling into cracks, because there's other people there from outside of our sector who will give you a helping hand to get out. We can help each other, but if we get obsessed with just helping ourselves within this little bubble, then we're putting a bunch of barriers in our way. And I guess my hope is that we can look outside of the creative industries to create that hope that we all so desperately need and move forwards. And yeah, so there's this building, there's this relationship. Tumanawa, if any of you work in movement, Tumanawa is the Sport New Zealand's Active Recreation Fund. Their focus is on getting more young females involved in physical activity, dance. Does it already? No brainer. So just thinking about that outside of this, sorry, that was a rant, wasn't supposed to be. I'm hopeful, it's been great, I love it, I just hope my plane leaves. Cheers.
Kia ora, Adam, and there's a reason for everything, and the people that are speaking to you represent your Creative Spaces Network, and I hope that each of you can connect with the vibe and the energy of at least one of these speakers sharing back to you today. So thanks Adam, for bringing the energy. Can I please invite Dee O'Malley from Artsenta in Dunedin, or Tipoti.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Dadra O'Malley, toko ingoa. I'm Dee. My full name is Dadra. I don't often say that, but in the spirit of telling a whole story, the reason everyone calls me Dee is because they can't say my name right. So there you go. This conference has been amazing. I come from Artsenta down in Dunedin. It is a working art studio with a music room. I have an amazing team of professional, focused, talented people there who open the doors to an amazing bunch of artists who enrich each other and the community with their work. Meeting everybody here has been an absolute joy. I've come with my colleague Claire. We expanded our experience by coming a few days early. Thanks, Paul. And we went to see the Shed Project in Kapiti, the Mix in Lower Hutt, and Pablo's and Vincent's. It was such an enriching experience to have conversations with the people from all those places. And we went to see lots of art in galleries, one of which was Hapi's work from the Mix, and it was just beautiful. What an experience. I wasn't very highly focused at school, so the 3 hours went down the drain, but what I'm going to take away from this conference is the 3 E's that I've made up. And that is engage, enrich, and essential. we need to engage with each other because what's happened here has been really good. I've seen a lot of people on Zooms, but there's nothing like actually talking in the flesh. And I will remember people because of the way they look, the way they move, all the things that go with it that you don't see online, the funny things they say, just the beautiful people that work in our areas of creative spaces. I think we need to engage with our teams back in our places. We need to engage with our artists. For us at Artsenta, we've been going 38 years. We're just a little bit behind Vincent's. So we're looking forward to a 40th soon. But I feel that when a space has been going for a very long time, sometimes we hold on to old things. And from this experience, I feel like I can engage with my team and think about a future with new experiences, maybe in a different way. And with the help of other people that I've met here, those ideas might get generated and fulfilled. Enriching. I feel enriched by being here with all of you. I feel I have relationships that I can carry on, and hopefully anybody here is welcome to Artsenta at any time. We need you to see what we do. In terms of creative spaces, I would like to say, being lower down in the South Island, I would like to give a shout out to CS Arts in Invercargill and Studio 2, who are having a boosted campaign at the moment. And I really hope that Studio 2 succeed. They have a week left and we're really rooting for them to succeed. CS Art and Studio 2 do now engage with us. We, with the help of Marilyn and Marty and people like that, we've realised we need each other. And it's great that we have those people, the people, the artists there, that work there, that look after the other artists. They're amazing. They have so much talent and so much scope with people. And essential, I get to essential. It is essential that we carry on the work that we started. It's essential that we tell our stories. It's essential that we stick together, and that this whole group here and everyone that's behind you in your home places, that we become visible to the politicians, visible to the nationally, and visible to our communities, and visible to the people who need to come to us and do the work with us, because it will enrich their lives. I think that's all I have to say, but one more thing. The manaakitanga that has been shown to us by the team of Arts Access Aotearoa is phenomenal. You have kept a safe space for all of us to talk and be together, and I am very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dee, and amazing. We all probably had quite tight travel arrangements and turnaround times, so making the time to go and visit 3 Pōneke creative spaces, I'm sure they were really thrilled, and I really thank you for doing that. Can I please lastly welcome up Huia O'Sullivan from Ngā Rangatahi Toa in Tamaki Makaurau.
O tēnā tātou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou, ko tiatiawa ki Taranaki ahau, ko mana whenua ahau. Kia ora. Hey, it's been a full-on last couple of days for everyone. So I'm really mindful of that in the space that we sit. Like Fiona said, yeah, I run Ngā Rangatahi Toa up in Tamaki Makaurau. I started writing down all these notes over the last couple of days and what I'm going to say, and then I was talking to Olivia, one of my staff, and she's like, but you never use notes. So and I'm looking at everyone ahead of me and I'm like, oh look, they're all using their notes and I should take something up. But it's like, I just have to actually trust what I know of what we all know of our mahi and why we do what we do. There's a couple of things I kind of want to look at too, and that's around, for me, when I took over Ngā Rangatahi Toa 8 years ago, man, we were in a shit position. Like, I'm not going to get it twisted. We had no money, we were in the red, and we weren't in a good place. And I had to decide, and I had a sweet job. You know, I was like looking after kids and doing cool stuff with all the artists, and that was it. That was my jam. I'd cracked it. I'd cracked life. And that's all I wanted to do with Ngā Rangatahi Toa. And then I had the word put on me by one of our philanthropics that I needed to step up into the ED role, or to the executive director. And that was a big push for me, man. But I did it. And so I had to get down and dirty with some of our numbers and the part that I hated the most, which was the fundraising. And I know that we needed a shift within Ngā Rangatahi Toa, and that was around our mindset. And coming out of this poverty mentality or scarcity mentality that we were poor and we were broke because, I don't know if you've seen, but I'm Māori and I'm female. So you want to talk to me about negative statistics? Man, let's go. Because I understand the urgency of what's required for the mahi that we do and that each and every one of you in this room do. So we had to flip the script and we had to start looking at a change of mentality. And so now we fully work in an abundance